Morning came quietly to Misselthwaite Manor. There were no bells, no sudden sounds, no hurried footsteps in the halls. Instead, pale light slipped gently through the tall windows, resting on the stone walls and wooden floors as if it were unsure whether it was welcome. Mary Lennox woke slowly. For a moment she did not remember where she was. Then she saw the high ceiling, the heavy curtains, the faint glow of daylight beyond the glass, and she knew she was far from the hot, crowded world she had once known. She lay still, listening. The house was awake, but only just. Somewhere below, a door opened and closed softly. The wind moved around the manor again, brushing against it like a familiar companion. Mary dressed and went to the window. Outside, the moor stretched wide and quiet, its colors muted by the early hour. The sky was pale gray, touched with hints of blue. Everything looked calm, still. Waiting. She felt an unfamiliar urge to go outside. After breakfast, Mary wandered through the halls until she found her way back to the garden. The air felt cool against her face, and she breathed it in deeply. It was different from the air she had known before. It felt cleaner, slower. She walked along the paths, her steps unhurried. Birds hopped among the branches, pausing to watch her with bright, curious eyes. Leaves stirred gently above her, whispering to one another in a language she did not need to understand. Mary felt for the first time that she was not entirely alone. As she wandered, her thoughts returned to the wall she had seen the day before. The ivy-covered stone had stayed in her mind, quiet but persistent, like a thought that refused to fade. She walked until she found it again. The wall stood just as it had before, tall, old, and covered in thick green ivy. Mary traced her fingers along the rough stone, feeling the coolness beneath the leaves. There was something about it that made her slow down. She followed the wall, step by step, wondering how long it had been there, who had built it, what it protected, or what it hid. The wind stirred, lifting a few loose strands of ivy. For a brief moment, Mary thought she heard something else beneath the sound of the leaves, a faint rustle, like movement on the other side. She paused, but when she listened again, there was only silence. Mary smiled faintly and continued walking. Later that day, she met Martha again. Martha spoke as she worked, her voice steady and comforting, filling the room with gentle sound. "My mother says fresh air makes you hungry," Martha said, "and being outdoors makes you strong." Mary listened quietly. She was not used to such talk. In India, no one had ever spoken to her this way, simply, kindly, without expectation. "Do you like the moor?" Martha asked. Mary thought for a moment. "I think I do," she said slowly. Martha smiled. "It grows on you." That afternoon, Mary went back outside. She walked farther this time, letting her feet choose the path. The garden seemed larger than she had realized, stretching out in gentle curves and hidden corners. Some areas were wild and overgrown. Others felt strangely cared for, as if someone had once loved them deeply. Mary stopped near a small tree, its branches thin but determined, reaching upward despite the cold air. She felt something stir inside her, a quiet curiosity, warm and steady. As she turned away, a sudden movement caught her eye. A bird. It was small and red-breasted, hopping lightly across the ground. It tilted its head, watching Mary with bright interest. Mary stood very still. The bird did not fly away. Instead, it hopped closer, then closer still, as if it were not afraid of her at all. Mary felt her breath slow. She watched as the bird moved along the base of the ivy-covered wall, disappearing briefly behind a cluster of leaves, then reappearing again. Without thinking, Mary followed. The bird led her along the wall until it paused near a place where the ivy grew thickest. It hopped up onto the stone, fluttered its wings once, and then vanished into the branches. Mary stepped closer. Something was different here. The ivy was dense, but beneath it, the stone felt uneven. Mary brushed her hand along the leaves and felt a faint curve beneath her fingers. She pulled gently. The ivy shifted, and there, hidden beneath years of green growth, was the outline of a door. Mary's heart beat a little faster, not with fear, but with wonder. A door. She stepped back, looking around to see if anyone was watching. The garden was empty, silent, patient. Mary knelt and brushed away more ivy, revealing rusty hinges and a handle worn smooth by time. It did not open. Still, she smiled. That evening, as Mary lay in bed, she could think of little else. A door meant a beginning. A door meant something had once been important enough to hide. She imagined what might lie beyond it. Flowers resting beneath the soil, paths waiting to be walked, quiet spaces untouched by time. Her thoughts slowed as sleep returned, gentle and unforced. The next day, Mary woke with a sense of purpose. She went outside as soon as she could, returning to the wall, to the hidden door. The bird was there again, hopping nearby as if it had been waiting for her. Mary smiled at it, feeling a strange sense of gratitude. She explored the area carefully, searching the ground, the nearby stones, the roots of the old trees. And then she saw it. Something small, half buried in the soil, catching the light. She reached down and lifted it gently. A key. It was old and rusted, its surface rough beneath her fingers. Mary turned it over slowly, feeling its weight, its quiet promise. She closed her hand around it. For a long moment, she simply stood there, listening to the wind, the birds, the soft breathing of the garden around her. She did not rush. Some things, she sensed, were meant to be taken slowly. That night, Mary slept more deeply than she had in years. And in her dreams, the garden waited, silent, green, and ready.